Hey, you alright? Hello everyone. Thanks for joining in. I've seen a few people in the chat, so I'll just welcome everyone in. Hopefully everyone can hear me. No gremlins. Yeah, no worries, Ched. Thanks, mate. And hello, Matt. You alright? Yeah, it was good to meet everyone who we met up with over the weekend and put names to faces. Not enough time in the day, really. You alright, Neil, mate? Hope you've didn't work too long today. You alright, Mark, mate? Hello, the window washer. Yeah, we'll talk about the breakfast. There's a few things, but I'll come on to that. You alright, Alex? Yeah, we'll come on to it. Yeah, you alright, Robbie, mate? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, it's good to meet up, and unfortunately Sainsbury's I think have shut all the cafes because I got there, I think the others had already scoured it out and they come out and said the Sainsbury's cafe was shut. So it's not bad, we just walked around to Costa anyway and had something to eat there, and it's more just everyone was chatting. I think we could have chatted there all day, to be honest, and missed the complete show, but Neil was like, right, we've got to shift it, so we got there. But I was speaking to my father-in-law and they're saying all the Sainsbury's ones seem to have closed down as well. So perhaps that's what they've done to save money, haven't they? Feeling the pinch and all that lot. Hi, Tower Pro Clean, mate. You alright? Thanks for coming in. But yeah, it was nice to put faces to names. And I think I wish I spent more time chatting to everyone really than looking around at the show. It was hard to stay together as a group because people are saying hello to other people and all that kind of stuff, or someone's come to talk to you, and then you just sort of like thought you go for a little walk and you'd lose each other. And you know what I mean? There's lots there, but when you've walked around so many times, you pretty much seen everything. But I didn't go and have too much nose around all the stands because I didn't really need to buy anything, to be honest. But it would have been good to have a look close up at stuff. But you just feel like you're in people's way because there's a lot of people there who are going to spend a lot of money as well. But it was definitely good to see everyone. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Have the breakfast on that cafe that was there as well, because a couple of people come up down there just saying they watched the channel and just said hello. I've forgotten his name now. He's there with his son. They work together as well. And he was saying they come up, Premier M'd it, stayed at the Premier Inn overnight, and then had breakfast at that cafe that's very close to the expo. I think he said £12 to me, he said, for the breakfast, which ain't bad, because I think a fry up nowadays is nearly a tenner anyway, isn't it? Hi Steve, you alright, mate? And I think that's what we could do next time. Well, I'm thinking as well, clear it with the boss and save some money, get a Premier Inn, and then we could have a couple of beers and a lot of chatting, and then have a look around the expo and probably just knock it on the head at a certain time, sit in the cafe just chatting to everyone. Hiya, Tell's window cleaning. Yeah, it's not been going too bad for me today. I know it's Mother's Day and all that, but I did my normal thing on a Sunday, which is wash the van in and out. It needed it. And I've sorted my pole out, so it's all ready for the week. That's pretty much my day. It's been sunny here, but it got windy during most of the day. Excuse me. And that's why when I saw Neil's post, he's working, but he said where he was, the sun was out, but not windy, so lovely day. And I hope you weren't working too long there, Neil. And you got the job done and got home, especially Mother's Day and all that lot. But yeah, no, it's been going good, and I hope everyone's had a good Sunday for a Mothering Sunday. And I'm sure we've made sure the other halves all had a good day, so we can be here for the lives and be left alone. But yeah, it was good, definitely good to be at the expo. I mean, I've been wanting to go every year for about 9 years. And I just haven't been able to go because I've had to, instead of picking a day off, go to work instead. Oh, cheers, Steve, mate. Thank you. Yeah, I just enjoy making the videos and putting them out there, really. And I'm just surprised people watch it. Gives you something to do, doesn't it? But thanks for joining in on the live. And if you've got any questions, mate, just ask. Everyone here sort of helps each other out. It's more of a hangout, really. It's like Robbie was saying, it's sort of like afterwards you just feel better to face the week. Sort of like revs you up, makes you look forward to the week instead of thinking, oh God, I got another week. Oh, you see you're back by 12:30, so that's good going, that is. And I bet your customers happy as well, like you say, fitted them in, get it out of the way, innit? To have to try and fit it in the week then. You alright, Angus, mate? Yeah, I think I had about 10 people just come up to say hello. Just wanted to say hello, basically, and say this in the channel, and you know what I mean, keep it going. You alright, Martin? Thanks for joining in. I think I'm just looking, we've got about 16 people actually in the stream right now, apparently. All got new to this still. At least this time you can hear me, and I've sorted out the audio this time. But yeah, did still feel overwhelming at the expo for me, because it's just like so much going on, loads of stuff. And I don't want to get too close to all the stands, because they just want you to spend money, really, don't they? That's what they're there for. But I haven't got the money to spend on that. But it's pretty good that you get to speak to everyone, I suppose. But I just kept walking around. There is a lot there. Ah, Martin, are you one of the lads that spoke to me? It was you up there with Chris, wasn't it? I think. We had a chat outside, didn't we? I'm thinking it's yourself. I'm glad, yeah, my son told me that this week's meant to be a good week for warmth. So I'll be happy with that. Yeah, Mark's saying to get the shorts out. I reckon Matt has got his hanging on the chair ready to go already. Would be nice to wear them a bit more regularly, wouldn't it? What I find is, though, when you have to wear the shorts, you have to go down the side of a house or something and it's all overgrown with stinging nettles and you've got your shorts on. You're like, oh, really? Hi, Christopher, mate. You all right? Oh, thanks for watching them back. Yeah, I'll probably have to bear that in mind when I keep saying, look at this, and showing web pages and things like that not everyone can see it. Ah, nice one, Chris. Martin, sorry. Yeah, say hello to Chris for me as well. Yeah, it was nice speaking to you both. And like I say, give me something to think about. I'll try my house first about rinsing on the glass sort of thing. Because you're saying because of the flow of the water that we're using. I'll let everyone else answer this one, mate, because that's the one thing I didn't do, is go around asking what deals I got in the stands. And as I didn't know what the deals were, it's not like they're advertising them. I did think if this year, perhaps, because the way things are economically, that you'd probably find, I thought, you're only going to get deals on certain bits of kit that are obviously going to cost a lot of money, like you got to Vax get 20% off, for example. Whereas if you're just buying a hose, it'd probably be full price. I didn't really ask. But I'm sure there's discounts on stuff. I mean, I only spent £5 on kit. Spent more on food and tea. All right, old and grumpy, mate. So Matt's just saying gutter vacuums were good deals. Yeah, I didn't really get too close to have a look or start asking. Thing is, I know if I started asking, I'll be tempted to go and spend money I haven't got. But it'd be great to try and save for a year, I think, to get to the expo, wouldn't it? So you've got some cash saved so that if you do get something that's really good, and especially if you was going to buy something anyway, sometimes I think it's worth holding out for these things to see what they do. But then you get the Black Friday deals and all that as well, don't you? Yeah, probably look on Amazon for the good deals on them. But I do like the muck-off brush. They are good. Might get a stand one day with all the muck-off brushes. But there's definitely a lot there. I'll just see if I can get their website up, actually. April's your spending month. Yeah, I try and save April to April, but I think I'm going to save January to January because I think it's the 31st of December. Or was it the 31st of January? I can't remember. Is me last payment to pay me income tax being self-employed. So I sort of like thought maybe I'll just go for January to January. Neil's just saying some prices were cheaper. It's more for having a look and being able to see the quality of the equipment rather than, yeah, I get that. Because like you say, you can get up and close and handle these things and have a look at them, can't you? It's easy to get carried away when you see something that's new, like a new pole, because at the end of the day, things wear after you've had them. So you get to look at it and think a bit more of how it'll be afterwards. Oh, you think you missed half the stands, dear Matt? There was a lot there. Ah, not paying tax. I know that feeling. It's like when everyone says put 20% of what you earn away to pay the tax. And I was thinking if I did that, I wouldn't have enough money to live. It'll get there. It'll build up. I've been going for a while, then Angus. Or if it's sort of like in the early days starting out. I'll just try and go over to the website of the expo actually. Oh, I've been going a year, Angus. I'd enjoy the first couple of years and use that time to kind of like, I'll just go back to me, to learn your craft and try and learn how you're going to get things done, to sort things out, because you've got time to think. And then before you know it, you'll start being too busy. And hopefully by then you've kind of worked out what you're doing, so you can just go from job to job and sort of like go through the day that way. But just figure things out. It's nice to have that, because before you know it, honestly, mate, you'll be really busy. Just don't fret too much, and your customers will come. It's recommendations, the best form of advertising, really. And then what you find is as you start building up more customers, the word spreads a lot faster as well with the more you've got. It's just when you've got a small amount of customers, it seems to take longer, but it'll get there. And I wouldn't spend too much money on advertising, mate. Just being seen and cleaning's good enough, you know what I mean? It's interesting speaking to everyone else, like Robbie's saying, when you're not working, you're out trying to push some leaflets through some doors and try it in the areas you're already in to build up, you know what I mean, and get stuff up. Yeah, mate, just honestly take your time. Yeah, and like you're saying, you'll be in that position where you're having to say no, which is what we all hate doing, but you get to the point where you have to. And it's nice to be really busy as opposed to not busy enough, if that makes sense. I always try and have more customers than what I need to get through the day. So if you get any skips, it doesn't matter. You're still hitting the target of the money you need. And you just look at it as a bonus that you're going to get home earlier. It's just hard in the winter when you've got a lot of customers because of their daylight. But in the summer, the longer days and stuff, you tend to, it doesn't matter, does it? If you don't get home bang on and go a bit over, you just had a really good day. But yeah, so I just go over to the website, and like I said, the floor plan. If this will load up, oh, I've got to accept that. I don't know if I can zoom in on this. But yeah, if you look on their floor plan, it'll just tell you, you'll see how many stands are there. Some of them are quite big. And then you've got a load of small ones as well. It's a bit dotted about. But there's a lot going on. And gutter vacuum systems definitely looked a busy stand to me. But it's a good mix there of different things, isn't it? It's not all just window cleaning. Or it's not all just pressure washing. There was oven cleaning. Squeegee were there. I did go over and speak to them, because I had a couple of questions like... they were good. They're always good at support anyway. And it was nice to put a name to some of the people I get emails from when I'm emailing them for support. So it's just nice to say hello. It's definitely a good event, I think, for networking. Oh, I got you, Angus. So you already work at another job? Yeah. So I take it you've got a job and you're doing this to slowly build up, and you want to get to the point where you can decide whether to go full term sort of thing. So I'd say you're doing it right. At least you ain't got to worry too much money-wise that way as well. Like you're saying, it's just trying to fit people in. And the problem is the days where you could probably work will be the day it pisses down with rain or there's a storm or something. And then when it's clear, you've got your job to do, so they have to wait like a full week or something near enough to catch up. But you'll just learn to manage things. Yeah, got you, mate. It's a good, safe way of doing it, isn't it? I mean, for me, I was leaving the military, so I had a date where my job was going to finish, and I knew I needed something. But luckily for me, because I saved up my leave, I sort of had gardening leave. So when I left, come out, I was still in the military, but I was at home being paid, so I was able to go out window cleaning, but I was getting my full wage still for another 3 months. So in my head, I had 3 months to be able to hit what I was getting paid from the RAF, so to speak, in order to live. And just went for it, and it sort of like worked out. Oh, that's the best way, yeah, no debt. Yeah, Angus, Matt would tell you. And I think you find as well, when you've got your customers, a lot of them are actually really understanding, so they're quite patient with you because you'll be telling them what you're doing and with your chit chat and stuff, so they'll know and they'll stand by. It's like speaking to Robbie, and when he was going through some difficult times, the customers, he had to sell off some of his round basically, and he kept some, but then one stood by him the whole time. And it's nice, isn't it? You got customers, like I say, customer loyalty does go 2 ways. On Grumpy says I work 3 weeks, so and then you have a week off. So it gives you time, okay, to catch up on the big jobs that are sort of like, yeah, forming up. Yeah, I get that, mate. And also it gives you a bit of leeway as well, doesn't it? So if the weather gets and you lose a day, it allows you to catch up. Hi, Paul, you all right? It's just with me, my price has been so low, probably I have to keep working every day. But yeah, I think it was Neil was saying like he does Monday to Thursday, so they have like a Friday off, but the Friday's there as well for the big jobs and catching up. But if there's nothing there, the lads get the Friday off, so they work hard. But he's also saying they like to know if they're doing something different on Friday, so like pressure washing and that, to break up the window cleaning, which is good. Oh, so you got rid of your 8 and 12 weeklies. So you just 4 weekly only, have you? Or have you moved like everyone to 6 weekly? Yeah, exactly. When they've found someone they know who's going to do a good job, like you say, and they will stick with you because they're happy at what you do and they know life is life. And like I say, it works 2 ways, doesn't it? That's why I don't get so bothered if I get the odd skip. It's just the serial skippers. Obviously, it'd do your head in. Ah, you're all 4 weekly. Because that way, don't you need less customers compared to, say, if you're 6 or 8 weekly, it allows you to have more. But you're still getting enough to get by, you know what I mean? All right, part-time 2-3 days a week. Got you. Yeah, just do what you're doing, mate. And everyone's different, aren't they, at the end of the day? And you just tweak things to fit you, and everyone's circumstances and family life's all different, and you just slow's the best way, and it's smooth is fast, as they say. But it's good. It's good to see other people starting up as well. I'll just have a look. Bear with me, I'll just get something out of a bag. I was waiting to completely fall out of the chair there. Obviously got the goodie bag from Skyvac as you walked in. Look at this, sweets come in handy. but I didn't go mad like I said. I just brought 2 of these. So it's pole cleaner. I think Mark Monroe's website, that is addedsparkle.co.uk. It's just called Pole Care Pole Lubrication Fluid. So we used to buy bottles like this in the military and used to fill it up with oil to spray in your bottles rather than taking the oil bottles because they leaked oil everywhere. So these things are quite good. And this is what I use. Matt uses it as well. On the poles, like today, I've cleaned them, and then I put that on the outside, just wipe it on with some blue roll, and it just makes extending the poles, it's just like a brand new pole again. And obviously by the end of the week it's worn off and needs doing again over the weekend. That's all I got. It's something that I use a lot, if you get what I mean. I thought save on post and packaging. Right, just got your Mark. Yeah, I'm on Facebook. It'll be in the link in my description on the videos, mate. I think might not be on all the lives. It should be, but I add it on there after I've done the live, if that makes sense. If you look at some of the old stuff, it's got me Facebook, Twitter, Nextdoor, Instagram. Basically, it's all in there, mate. Oh, you work in the same area? Do you see him a lot working then, do you? Get some freebies. 5 new customers. Yeah, it's when I was speaking to Martin actually and Chris. I'm sure it was Martin and Chris were speaking to, because we're saying like this time of year I've been picking up some customers, and I think it's because the sun's out, isn't it? And more people are thinking, right, I need to get my windows cleaned, or looking for a window cleaner. It's a good time. Or no, I think it was a guy that was come up with his son, I'm sure, it's speaking to. And yeah, because I think when you watch the Uncleanables podcast, I keep saying the Untouchables, but they're probably like that. When they spoke to Lee Pryor, wasn't it? He was saying British summertime, that's when to do your leaflet drops, because you get a good response because it's sun's up and people are thinking about getting stuff cleaned and that. So it's probably a good time to build up customers, or they just naturally walk up to you as well. Yeah, they will. They just come out of the woodwork. I mean, we've been looking today, some of the quotes we've sent out, and they've been accepted. And I think we've had 5 as well. And I did one in my village earlier in the week. I saw a removal van, so I thought, right, someone's moving in there. And then Friday, we cleaned the house next door to it. And I said to Matthew, because he's cleaned the front, I was around the back, I said, you're probably going to get the neighbours lean over the fence and ask for a quote, because they just moved in the other day. And the owner of the house we did clean said, right, they've moved in, they're after a window cleaner, go and knock on the door. So I said to him, that's what we'll do. So we did, introduce ourselves, give them a quote, and they seem really nice. They're obviously really busy, giving the house a pull through as well. And it's a big house, there's a lot of glass. So did the quote, and we quoted as well for the inside, and they've accepted it. And they're keen to get it done as soon as possible. So I'm going to plan on working that one this Saturday. Wouldn't work this Saturday, but it makes sense to get them in, and then they're on a regular clean after. And as it's inside and out, it's going to take a long time as well. So they just come out of the blue, don't they, when you don't expect it as well. Oh, Matt's saying you had one today, filled out the form to join the round and already set up Go Cardless as well. So it's like your process of doing that. I know Mark was asking me about it. Is working, isn't it? Which is good, because I wish I had everyone on Go Cardless, but it wouldn't work where I am. I've got some people here, you know what I mean? They don't trust internet banking, that sort of thing. So I've got all these different methods and they just choose. But it would make accounting so much easier with Go Cardless. But yeah, I'm sure we're going to get busier. Like I say, when spring really hits in. I mean, as well last week, as a customer, he cancelled his windows, and so did his sister-in-law as well. So I automatically thought I'd done something wrong. I think I might have said it last Sunday. And anyway, while we were cleaning this house, the gardener was there, Bob, and we were having a nice chat actually, and he was just telling me how normally February he'll be picking up work, but this February is absolutely diabolical for him because of the weather. And then when it is sunny, like 17 people want him that day to be there, and you just can't do that. And then when the weather turns, they obviously don't want to know. So when the summer proper kicks in, he'll pick up a lot. But his sister-in-law was moving anyway, so that's why that happened. But you know what I mean? I just thought I'd done something wrong, and I just said to him, like, I'll clean your windows. Don't worry about that, because we all hit tough times. So it's important you look out for each other, isn't it? I mean, even if you can't do anything for each other, it's just the fact you listen and lend an ear, sort of thing. Mine are big enough, but it can make a big difference. But yeah, it just goes to show, it doesn't matter what business you're doing or what trade is it, you're all affected by the weather. I mean, even the tradesmen work inside. If it's raining, they've still got to walk out to the van, walk in, and then they're just shoes on and off and grabbing kit and all that. It still affects all them, doesn't it? Neil's just saying, start the silly season, take it while it's there. Yeah, get them in the bag, isn't it? Because you're still going to have customers that disappear or move. It's just nice when you've got that steady flow. So if people are moving, it's not long till they're replaced, if that makes sense. So like I say, it's nice to be in that place where you're having to say no, even though we all hate saying no. That's what I found with Wisbech. I think one day we had two telling me to no longer clean the windows. One was moving, one's going to try and save some money. But that evening I had two inquiries from Wisbech, so they were replaced straight away. Just it doesn't always work like that. It just happened to that day. So that, you know what I mean? Spot of luck. It's just funny. Yeah, you're right there, Angus. There's enough glass for everybody, really. That's. I mean, I saw my wife was just showing me someone advertised in the Facebook group in my village, and they live not far from where I am, Leverington. It's an area I cover cleaning as well, and they're called crystal clear windows, offer the same services as me, and he's advertising there. But I was like, I'm not worried, because the customers you got are going to stick with you because of who you are and what you do, and they like you, you know what I mean? It's nothing to really worry about, and the price is your price. At the end of the day, they're paying for you the service you do, aren't they? Not for the cheapest. And if they do, they've got to be brave enough to come and back, tail between the legs, to ask you anyway. But I'll just laugh and say no problem. But you know they're going to go nowhere. And I'm not bothered, like I say, there's enough glass out there for everyone. Yeah, we were just talking about all the new builds going up. I mean, in the villages around me, they're springing up everywhere, or the notices where they're going to build and that as well. There's plenty. And like Neil was saying, good idea, and Robbie was as well, about how to get into these areas where they built the houses, like do a free clean on the show house, and a couple of showrooms, on the provision that you got all the leaflets in there for you, for your business, and they let you know when someone moves into one of the new builds, so you can go around there, and then you're going to quickly build around up there that way. That's class. And you got a bit of an inside man in it, so it's scratch my back, I scratch yours sort of thing, and get in there. And then they will spread the word themselves as well. But yeah, it's definitely loads of new ones cropping up, to the point where I'm worrying, because some of the places I go, they're building that. I just know if there's a big influx of people, you'd be like, I wish I had another van and some blokes sort of thing. But I think it's a right headache when you're in that sort of size, isn't it? You've got to come off the tools, really, I think, to manage it, and lend a hand here and there, like Neil was saying. Yeah. But you just want to make yourself comfortable, really, don't you? Don't want to be too busy. Just busy and a little bit more on top to be safe. But yeah, and everyone I've spoke to as well when we're down there, it was me, Neil, Mark, Matt and Robbie. We're the five who sort of like met up, and everyone's price rises that they're putting up has been well received and going around. So no, I wouldn't have the money. For me, I'd have to get another loan, probably, to pay it and then get it out there. I'm going to just concentrate now on trying to clear some of the debt, and then keep that money paying in a pot, but that'll be for the next van, so I can pay it outright and not owe on it. That's the plan. when Sophie, my daughter, come across to work for me, initially I was thinking, if they like this and they want to push, I was trying to plant the seed, saying if one of you two learn to drive, well, they can drive, but they just hated driving. I said, drive the van. You two could work together in this van and I'll get another one. I used to be scared, thinking, because I said to my wife, I'm not that worried now because the way work comes in. I said, I know if I got a second van within a year, I think that would be full, because you've got the capacity to keep saying yes and push it for it to get more customers, rather than try and get a workload for another van and then once you've got it say, right, I'll get a van, because that will break you. It's just impossible. And that's what I was trying to say to the kids, like, or Matthew and Sophie. I was going to say, here's the van, I want this much a month, the rest of it you pocket. So basically, if they're happy to be finished by 3 and have some money in their pocket, that's up to them. Or they could work till 5 and get more customers and be a bit richer. That's what I was trying to teach them, sort of thing. But Sophie wasn't going to stay here. She had plans as well. And plus, I think because we didn't know after COVID how things would go, and we said it'd be a bit silly to take on more debt, get another van, so we just stay as we are. So I'm basically just going to stick on the one van for now. Yeah. Sorry, just reading the comment. Because what I do see sometimes, or just to hear off other people, you'll see like an old pub. There's a building that's 200 years old, and they'll sell the car park off, new builds go all around it, and then within 5 years there's problems and they need fixing, yet the 200-year-old house is just completely fine. And yeah, you find when you're working on some of these, the workmanship on some of these houses are not very good, are they? Especially the gutters. I'm finding with the gutters, a lot of people, it's like one long gutter along the top, then they've just clipped on, like, say, the downpipes, and then they've got a drill and just drilled a circular hole in the gutter to line up with the downpipe. And then when you're clearing out the gutters, you're like, that's why the nozzle's not going down there, or they're getting blocked so easy. Then I have to point it out. Yeah, trickle vents fall off. Then you've got to get your ladder out to go and put them all back up and try and explain to the customer. You all right, Marcus, mate? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is just clear off some of the credit cards. I've finished my business loan about 3 years ago, but I took out another loan when I brought all my gutter vac and the electric reels. So I've got a year left on that. And then I paid for my computer as well, because my laptop was that old. It was a nightmare to do all my invoicing. And I've only got 2 months left on that, and I'll be so much a month better off. Yeah, I did. I was having a look at that as well. And then Neil sort of like spoke to me about it as well. It's the price on it sort of like looks good, doesn't it? But I still think I'd go the X-Line one, just because I love X-Line kit. It'd be nice to have an X-Line heater, and I've always wanted one, so it's like a goal almost for me. And that'd be a 2-person, and I think the ones in Squeaky Clean Dame's 1, so you'd need 2 of them for your van. I mean, it looks small and everything. Yeah, Neil's saying when you're working 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, then it's time to employ and think about another van. Depends if you want to grow, isn't it? And then the thing is, if you're going to grow, you're going to go over that VAT threshold. Then you've got that worry about the 20% and how are you going to do that? And then when you're thinking you've got people working for you, they're going to need a lot of money to live anyway, this day and age. So you've got to be charging right to be able to pay for the van and everything else, and a good enough wage for someone to come and stay working with you, rather than thinking, oh, I could probably do more on my own, that sort of thing. So it's not that easy, is it? Are you saying you're in the same position, mate, trying to clear cards, main reason for starting up? It's just been difficult when you've had them rough months, isn't it? And then you're relying on the credit card because you're waiting for money to come in, then someone else goes wrong and you're staying on top of it, but you're not getting rid of it, if that makes sense. So that's what I want to do. And I'm sure if I just have 2 or 3 good months on the bounce, I could get rid of the lot pretty much. And that's what I want to do. And then my outgoings are really minimal. And then the profit's going to be bigger, isn't it? And that's when I can say to Matthew, right, let's put your money up a bit. and keep him happy. Right, Angus just saying my uncle's planning to retiring and joining you. Okay, in 5 years, would you say I could build it up enough to have another van for him? Would you say it's more beneficial running one van with 2 people? I think a lot of people tell you that you're better off with 2 vans with 1 person in each one. But for me, it was easier to have 2 people in one van. And that's just because... Sorry, I just try and get rid of the comment. That's just because my son's not really keen on driving. So it's easier I do. Plus, like we were saying, it's not 2 different bills for fuel. It's just 1. But like I was saying to my wife, it wouldn't be 2 lots really, because if you did 2 vans on the same round, you're going to the same area, but you're using half the petrol on the actual round itself, apart from driving there and back, because what he's doing saving me driving and vice versa, if you get what I mean. And also I was thinking with 2 vans, you got that capacity where if something was going wrong with one of your vans, we already know how to work with 2 people in a van, or with Sophie it was 3, and carrying extra water, that kind of thing. So if we had to make do with 1 van to do the work, we know we can do it, because that's how I've been working. Whereas if we had 2 vans, that's what I was trying to say to my wife, you could afford to run a second van. Just think what you could get back as an earlier knockoff and more quality of life, if that makes sense. And then all you need is maybe, once you've got things settled down, you might find you could probably do an extra couple of cleans each that day maybe, but still have the benefit of getting home early, but then you're making that little bit extra money towards paying for that van and running it. It's what it gives you. But I'd probably say before your uncle comes to you, mate, just stick with the 1 van, because when he starts, you can work together and you can watch what he's doing and shadow him, and you're there for tips and you can chat away until maybe he's done it for about 6 months, and then he feels ready just to go his own way. Then maybe you could look at another van then. As long as it's not going to break you, if that makes sense. You don't want to put yourself in that position, because I know if I had 2 vans right in survival month, that would have probably definitely killed me off. But it is amazing what you can do with 1 van. It's nice on the big jobs to be with someone rather than just yourself. Like when we're all a family, we're doing a job tomorrow where it's going to be me, Matthew, my wife Therese is going to go up in the car with Rachel and David, my younger 2. I mean, they're like 18 and 17, 19, sorry, and 18. So they'll be helping out on that. And it's nice to do all that together, really. Hi, Reflection. You all right, mate? Yeah, it's all going well, mate. Thank you. Hope you're all right as well. The window washer saying every summer I say this is the year we get ahead and things are going to change. Just got to keep plugging away. Yeah, we're all like Del Boys there, aren't we? But it's like what I was thinking of saying, like it's just a case of putting 1 foot in front of the other. And then when you hit them hard times, it's like being a squaddy, you know what I mean? You're out trying to go up a hill, say, and you're just putting 1 foot in front of the other. You're going to get somewhere. But when it starts pissing down with rain, you can't look up, but you just simply put your head down and concentrate on putting 1 foot in front of the other, and that's it. That's all you got to do. We get good runs, bad runs, you know what I mean? Neil's just saying 1 man per van is better than 2 people in one. So yeah, I'd say when you're ready, Angus, mate, and you can afford it, get another van. Ideally, it'd be great to have the money to buy it outright and the system and then not own it, if that makes sense. Cheers, Mazman. Yeah, it's weird. You just do, don't you, what you've got to do to make it work. And then I think sometimes when you just put yourself in a position where you don't know, but you've just got to get on with it, you kind of like just find a way, if that makes sense. And like Matthew and Sophie, I think when you get them working as a team, you find out that if you help someone else out doing more than what you should be doing, and everyone had that attitude, everyone gains from it. So I suppose you start to work as a team well that way. Steve's saying you had a lad working with you, but could not leave his phone alone. Yeah, it's a generation thing, that, isn't it? So to get rid of him. Yeah, I think it looks rubbish as well with your phone in your hand. That's what I used to say to Matthew and Sophie. I don't mind you being on the phone in the van and I'm driving. That's your time. But when you know I'm reversing onto the drive, put that phone in your pocket and get out. I don't want to be out the van and they're sat there 5 seconds later because they're trying to look at something else on social media or something. And like you say, they get out of it in their hand. I'm like, these people we're cleaning are from a different generation. That's rude. Just don't have the phone. Stick it away. And I hate that when they're hiding around the van on their phone or something. That's just a no-no of me. So that's why I told them, just put your phone away. In the van, that's fine. Between jobs, but that's what I was telling them. You know when I'm coming to contact customers, I'll start getting your phone out of the way. So the quicker we set up, the quicker we're away. Matt Sound, I keep thinking about getting someone with you, especially, yeah, with your friend who's been made redundant. That's a nice thing to do. I'm lucky because it's family members with me, so I know their traits, their tricks, and I know when they're trying to get out of something, if you get what I mean. I'm like, no. You roll your sleeves up and you just get on with it, sort of thing. And so I'm lucky in that respect, but in other ways, you're working with each other and you're living with each other, if you get what I mean. So there are going to be days it blows up. But on the whole day, it's a good laugh and it's nice to say you've done it. Okay, so he has a van and he's been a plumber. So I guess then maybe he would convert his van over if he felt he was able to do it on his own, sort of thing. And I suppose at least being family, you're not worried he's going to go off and do his own thing. But then again, he might like to do that on the side. At least he'll be good on your round with you, mate, because when your customers say, do you know a plumber? Oh, well, actually, my uncle's one. And he'll probably know loads of good plumbers as well. So, yeah, old Grumpy's saying my advice would be stick it alone. Been there, done that. Employing can be a pain in the arse. Keep it simple now. No stress, you're too old for that. Yeah, I remember when I was leaving the military as well, there's another guy in there and he's saying that his dad used to be a builder. He's telling me like he'd have 2 vans. He'd have a nice looking van and his old battered one. And if he went to some houses, take the old battered one. And if it's like a nice big house, he'd take the nice one. Well, the money is, sort of thing. But he said his dad, he did employ up to 50 builders at one point. And he said when he was getting to the point of retiring and got it down to just him, he was better off working when he was on his own than when he employed 50 people, because it was all hassle, but he had more money as well. So I could believe that. Hi Mills, you alright, mate? Blimey. Thanks, Christopher. Thanks very much, mate. Appreciate that. I'll make sure I get a beer out of it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Wow. Thank you. Mark's is saying it's good when you can send out one van while you're doing the admin. Yeah. Or sometimes I think if you could afford another van. I mean, just say, for example, like my van's getting old. But if it's still going, you might think, if you could afford it, get another one. Yes, I'm running 2 vans, but at one point I'm going to lose one because it's old anyway. And then I thought one day you could use the old van, one day use the new one. Alternate them. And then you got the ability as well to split up. That's what I was trying to say to my wife. If you're catching up on weather, and yeah, we could then split ourselves up between 2 vans and catch up the work that way, as opposed to just live with the fact we're late. But it's different because we're a family and all live in one house. It's just easier, isn't it? I suppose, to do that. Hi mate, thank you. Yeah, got to keep yourself grounded, haven't you? Not get too big-headed in that. And I think enough of these days where you end up skint, it keeps you grounded. Suddenly them little houses that are worth £10 become really valuable because I know they pay you straight away. But yeah, it was nice to meet everyone and everyone come up and say hello. That I wasn't expecting any of that. I really enjoyed going to the expo. I just wish I did more chatting with the lads that I went with, because I think it was good. It's like Mark was saying, they know what I look like, but I don't know what they look like, if you get what I mean. But it was weird because everyone was talking as if we'd all known each other a long time. So I suppose because you chat on here and that to each other. And with what Matt and Neil set up, the window cleaners hub. In fact, I'll drop a link to that in the chat. A Facebook page that or group Matt is set up, and there's some admins and mods in there. And it's just a place for people to just chill out, say what you're doing today, that sort of thing, and ask away any questions. So it's kind of like a support group, hopefully. And just build it up with people who we, you know what I mean, with people you know. So you ain't got the trolls and that. And yeah, it's just nice to have people come up and say hello. It was great. And it's weird seeing people I used to watch a lot on YouTube, like seeing Squeaky Clean Dave in the flesh. Because I watched loads of his videos when I first started. Because you go on YouTube for everything, don't you? And Bob was there, wasn't he? Poles and Blades. Watched loads of his videos. And I was trying to learn how to trad and stuff. And you just see them and you're a bit, wow. It's weird. Yeah, I'd say it was 50-50, mate, between... There's a lot of window cleaning stuff there, and then you've got your pressure washing stuff. And you got smaller stands. There was oven cleaning, spotless water, squeegee, the uncleanables. I nearly said the untouchables again. They were there. There's lots of different suppliers. Some of the suppliers do everything from window cleaning for all exterior cleaning. Marshall Air was there. There was people there with drones. It was interesting to kind of see that technology. And yeah, there's lots of other things there, but it was mainly, I'd say, pressure washing, exterior cleaning, that sort of thing. Hi, Super Green. You all right, mate? Thanks for joining in. Yeah, I've noticed the last week or two starting to get some funny like posts come up. I just have to smile at them and laugh, really. It's kind of funny that you get into a size where people like that come along and then eventually they just bugger off, I suppose. But have a sense of humour in it, I suppose. Yeah, there was, when there, Neil, lots of different poles in the market. And it's interesting. It's hard because you look at them and you're a bit Star Trek because they all look new. But in your head, you're trying to think what they're going to be like when they get worn, because everything gets worn. All right, Tony, he's just saying, Steve, he saw you around. So you know each other then, do you two? Yeah, Matt's just letting everyone know, if you want to join the hub, there's some questions come up that you have to answer, otherwise you won't get in. It's kind of like a filter to get, you know what I mean, rid of the trolls. It's mainly the people that watch the lives or know how to answer some of the questions. It's not like a massive test. But it'd be good to build up the community in there, like you say, just the weather, that sort of thing, the gripes, the moans, or just genuine questions, and someone will get in there and help you out. That's what we're all trying to build, really. So I'm just gonna have some water. But yeah, I mean, it was good as well. I like going to the X-Line stand. I'd always make a beeline for them anyway, because I love their kit. And they're the guys that got me started. So, and it was great for them. Andy come over just to say hello to me as well. And I was speaking to James, just asking questions about the nano pole, because I've got the nano pole. I like using that. So it was good just having a chat with them as well. They're busy as well, aren't they? Must be long days for them because they're on their feet the entire time. Don't get to sit down and have a cup of tea, do they? And it's a 2-day event. Then they've got all the packing up as well. Tony, no, someone asked a question. I just brought 2 bottles of the pole cleaner lubrication from Added Sparkle. So I just spent a £5 on kit and then spent more on a cup of tea and something to eat. Angus saying you're needing a new pole and you're going to go for the OV8 with extensions, yeah. So I take you're going to have it, say, like a 18 or 22 foot and then add extensions on there when you need it longer, as opposed to having 2 different size poles. Matt's got one, haven't you, from It was a high mod, wasn't it, from CVS? I think I said that right, didn't I? So what do you think of it so far? I know you can't give too much away yet. Yeah, so April, yeah. So you're starting to look at kit now, eh, mate? Might be worth holding off and finding out when they do the deals as well to save yourself a bit, and then just got that bit more time to work things out and think how you're going to get it all done. Hi mate, you alright? Watched you. Yeah, I'll try and show you, mate. I think I've used different types. So I just realised if I press a button here. So I'm just getting up the website from X-Line and I'll show you, buddy. So I just got to press the right button. Yes, this is the X-Line website. It's where I get all my stuff from, mate. And where's the filters? Supposed to be under window cleaning. You'll probably all see it before me, and this is me wearing glasses. Sorry, I can't see it. Ah, filtration, here we go. Sorry, I was looking in the wrong bit. Yeah, this is the membrane I use. So it's an X-Line 4040 reverse osmosis low pressure membrane. It depends who their suppliers are at the time, because it was Spectrum at one point. I'm not sure if it still is a Spectrum one, but I just buy the one they supply basically. It depends on the system you've got as well, mate, because you might have one of the smaller ones. This is one where it's like the longer membrane. The best thing to do is always, I would, before placing an order, just phone whoever the supplier is, ask questions and double check you can get the right one, because things cost a lot of money, don't they, especially when you're starting up. It take me about 3 months to save up enough money to buy a brush, sort of thing. But yeah, that's the membrane that goes in my system, mate, because it's an X-Line system as well, which, as you saw in the video, it's basically this one here. It's that one there, plus I've got the booster pump as well, because where I live the water pressure is not very good. But again, give them a ring, or whoever you're going to use as a supplier. I would just ring them, double check everything to make sure you're buying the right item, basically. Hopefully it's helped, mate. Anger's just asking what you got, Matt. I know you posted it in the group. I didn't really get too close to a lot of the kit, but there was some stuff on the X-Line stand that Andy showed me, actually. And I was speaking to someone else because they were chatting to me on this X-Line stand as well. And they were saying, oh, there's a new reel coming out. And then I kind of got shown it. But it's, I forgot what they call it now, auto coil. So I don't know the best way to describe it. I don't know if you've ever done fishing. And like I used to do sea fishing and coarse fishing. You used to have a closed season, so you used to do sea fishing because you just liked fishing. And I saved up loads of my pocket money and paper rounds to get like an Abu Garcia beach caster reel, I think it was. And while you're reeling it in, there was a little bar and then something moved from left to right. So it basically made the line come back on your reel evenly rather than doing it with your thumb. And basically they've got something like that goes on top of the hose reel that they do, and it's exactly what it does. So while it's reeling in, it's basically feeding it on the reel for you. And I think as well, you can also press the button, let go, and then it will reel itself in while you're doing something. So I'm sure it's got more features on it than what I'm saying. But that looked quite good, because like probably all of us have got OCD where you have to have all your clamps in one straight line. You want it nice and neat on your reel as well, because you always think someone's going to look in your van and think that's a mess, or you know, that's neat. And when everything's neat, it just impresses people more as well. It gives that impression, doesn't it? So that caught my eye anyway, but I didn't get to look too much at all the good stuff. I'm sure there's more out there, and I know I had to look at the solar panel cleaning kit, although I think it's all more aimed for like where you're cleaning solar farms as opposed to residential, like. Yeah, I think Matt was the biggest spender between all us lot. Oh, I'm sorry. And Matt saying the poll seems alright, but you're going to use it for the first time tomorrow. Oh, you alright, mate? Was that a clean link high mod poll to try out? I didn't see them because, like I said, it's just I was a bit overawed by everything. It's only the second time I've gone to the expo. Like I said, the first time I went there was when I was deciding, could I be a window cleaner? I just wanted to speak to normal window cleaners and see what they had to say. And then I spoke to X-Line as well about kit and stuff, because I'd spoke to them before on the phone, and I kind of come away with that happy feeling like I can do this. And I've been wanting to go every year, and I haven't. This is the first year since I started, so a 9-year gap, because I've always ended up having to work instead. Yeah, that's true. You won't even up in Scotland need that, will it? It's just so soft, you just use your DI. So I think basically if your TDS is going to be over 50, you might as well buy. That's just my opinion anyway, and from what I've sort of picked up, an RO system, because it'll just make your resin last longer, so you save loads of money. Yeah. Someone did warn me saying last year they had a like jacket potato and it was about 12 quid. I think, Neil, I think it is a Spectrum, but I know they might change suppliers, but whatever they supply is what I get. And I think they went through a stage in the X-Line where Spectrum used a lot, because I know when I spoke to X-Line about a problem I had with my membrane not lasting so long, and I think there's a problem with my water. It's making the membrane go quicker because I was changing everything like I was supposed to. And I brought water softener, and that was made from Spectrum as well. They sourced me that, and that made a big difference for me. Oh, water pressure boosting it. If I remember rightly, the water pressure with these membranes, it's got to go through about 80 psi. So I think the booster pump, if your water pressure is under 50 psi, is it psi? If it's under 50 anyway, whatever it is, the booster pump kicks in, so then it's going through the membrane at the better pressure. Even though it says low pressure membrane, it's still got to go in at about 80 for it to be efficient and effective, and then it doesn't wear out, because if it's too high or too low, obviously it's going to wear out quick as well, and you're going to lose your quality of water. And the booster pump, it automatically does it itself, basically, the way it all works. But again, if you're going to get that particular one, or they're all kind of like similar, aren't they? Whatever the supplier is, always I'll just speak up and get advice. They'll probably want to ask you, they'll ask you what is the water pressure, so get a pressure gauge on your outside tap, or the tap you're going to use to feed your membrane system, and take a reading as well. And then when you give them that, they'll basically be able to answer your questions, mate. I wouldn't know what I'm getting per litre over a minute, but I think in about 4 hours it can fill up my IBC tank. And when I say fill up, it might not be from empty, because obviously when I've took water out, it's not emptied the whole thing, but I'm sure it's full within 4 hours. It probably depends on time of day as well, and usage of everyone's water and what the water pressure and the whole system's like at the time and all that. Have you got like a 40/40, or is it the smaller RO systems like people use for fish tanks and stuff like that? Oh, is that what Matt spent? Yeah, the entrance fee was a tenner, weren't it? And a chemical pump for you. Is that from DA Components, was it, Mark? But yeah, I've brought a chemical pump before from him for me backpacks. Just handy to have, isn't it? I haven't seen Paul Squeaky Clean Dave's video. I take it that's for the expo as well, is it? I know some people the stand saying who's come around filming and that. Sorry, I'm just catching up on the chat. Nelly saying it all depends what your water pressure is and how much water you need. So you use a Spectrum 40/40, and I'm pretty sure that's the one X-Line still are using. I know the last 2 times that's what it happened to be. Yeah, I did see that, mate. And Neil's kind of like telling me as well. Is it a Range Rover, that sort of thing used in there? I know it's just weird. I'd like the X-Line one, because that was like a goal of, yeah, I've made it sort of thing. It's a bit like when I got me Industrial 85. It's just something I wanted so long, and then when I had the money, even though there's other types out there, I'm like, but that's what I've wanted for so long. Oh, okay, I haven't seen the video, so that must have been the one he's talking about, because I think it was £1,500. But I don't know all the technical details and stuff. I didn't really ask the questions. I just saw it. But I do like the X-Line one, where because it's plumbed into your petrol tank, it hasn't got a separate tank that you've got to fill up, that sort of thing. And I like the Frostat idea as well, so I don't have to worry about heaters anymore. It just sorts itself out automatically. Oh, okay, Paul, didn't know that. So the new poles from OV8 have the first section made out of Kevlar. I take it because it's quite a thin section, they've made it stronger by using Kevlar, because in the military you used to have Kevlar on your helmets, so that deflects bullets, you know what I mean? So it's got to be strong. Yeah, so you're saying they're insulated similar weight to the normal poles. So I take it as well, if you've got an older pole, all you need to do is buy that first section basically, and then you've got it up to standard spec, I suppose. Yeah, Martin. Did X-Line mention when they're releasing a new reel? No, they didn't, mate. It was Andy's idea. He come up with it. It looked quite smart, to be honest. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of interest. So it's probably going to get a lot of interest from people seeing it, and everyone's now waiting for them to release it out. Could be worth just giving them a ring, mate, and just asking. I might do that. But at the moment, I'll just stick with what I got. It works, does the job. But if I've got some extra cash, it's something maybe to think about. But I'd definitely love a hot water system, like when I was speaking to you and Chris. Yeah. There's a lot of people walking around with a lot of kits who spent some money, so there must be worth the while for the suppliers going to these things. And obviously they do more than that in a year, don't they? Yeah, I thought it might be, mate, because I brought him off his website before. No worries, mate. Yeah, a few people have said that. It's like what Robbie was saying. There's no BS, no bullshit sort of thing. But you only get found out, don't you? Oh, it was the one that's 1,500. Oh, okay. So it does have the ability to pump into your diesel tank as well as and it has frost as well. Okay, that's good. Because I know there was two, wasn't there? There's one you could see being used and one on the floor. And I guess that was trying to demonstrate that you can have the ability to go under your van and plumb it into other stuff. But I didn't get to speak anyone. That's what I mean, mate. It works, doesn't it? What you probably do, mate, is best just to sit back, let everyone rush out, they use it, and then hear what the feedback is from everyone that's gone for it. And then make your decision, innit? So it's the same one, right, that the Range Rovers used to heat up in winter. Got you. But I know for me, I'm just in my head, I'd have my heart set on an X-Line hot water system. And probably like everyone else, when you've got the money saved up, I'll be like my customers seem to be finding it hard to let go of me money. You just want to hold on to it a bit more. So you were there, were you, mate? Yeah, sell some things to make it back. That's how you do it, isn't it? Thing is, it's nice to have a new bit of kit sometimes, because it's anything that makes your work a bit better, if you get what I mean, or you're happier, you work better. The Sky Drone, is that Robbie, the one that was spraying the chemicals, that sort of thing? That looks more like you could get use that as a taxi. It's quite big, that, wasn't it? I really wish I just spent more time just chatting to the guys we all met up with, because I just kept walking around and around in the end, and didn't really take a good look at a lot of the stuff, but I didn't really need to buy anything. Yeah, the ones outside that in the demonstration area. I started watching Smelt's, I think he was there on the Friday, and I think he's filmed it live walking around. I started watching it, but I've had to have me Mother's Day like takeaway, so I'll watch that another day. Does anyone know how much the Sky Drone was? I bet that's a lot. But it is amazing, isn't it, some of the ideas people are coming up with. And it still seems funny, is even though you got this good tech stuff, it's still handy to have a set of ladders. And it's like, God, with the health and safety, isn't it? You get the ladders with the bars on the bottom to stop it skidding. That's why I kept my old ones, because I know it doesn't work in certain situations, and then your ladder's not level. But I've noticed the newer ones you buy, you can take that off your ladder when you don't need it and fit it on when you do, sort of thing, which is good. Oh, how often do I change it? That's a good question. It's when I first started, obviously it lasted quite a long time, because your water usage is not going to be really high because you're not using as much water every day. And now I'm using a lot. It's going to change. But there was a bit where I started changing my membrane nearly every year. It only happened twice for 2 years. And that's when I was thinking, okay, maybe I've done something wrong. But I always change my filters when they tell me to. I do it every 3 months, or every time I change the resin, basically. But I knew my membrane's buggered. You've probably seen in the videos before, because I was trying to explain my resin. It got to the point where I was changing my resin filter around every week at its worst. And I just knew my membrane's blown. And I took it down to X-Line. They looked at it. Everything seemed fine. So that's when we worked out it's got to be to do with the water. And the chemicals where I live are probably stronger than up where X-Line are. So that's when we decided. I said, right, and they've got a water softener. But since I've had the water softener, it's about 2 to 3 years, maybe more towards 3 years, and then I changed my membrane. And I just change it as soon as I know it's gone, rather than letting it where my resin's going like once a week, because that's like £200 a month on resin like that. And the membrane's just over 200 quid itself, so you might as well spend the money on a membrane than keep throwing it at resin, you know what I mean? And yeah, and then I changed it myself. So, is it chloride? I can't remember the chemical, not chloride. It wasn't chlorine, but it sounds like chlorine. I think that's what was a high chemical in there. So basically, I think it was getting past the pre-filters and then damaging my membrane. But since I've had the water softener, and I use the water softener every 2 days basically, it's automatic as well. I just put the salt in, and then when it detects it's needed, it turns itself, and then I'm good to go again. And that's made a big difference for me. So instead of like a 4-stage filter system, it's like a 5 basically. Right, the drone, 120k. Wow. Okay, for the complete setup, but be nice to have the money to spend on that, wouldn't it? There's us running around with a pole thinking we've spent loads, sort of thing, and someone's gone and spent that. That's serious though, isn't it? You probably have to go to college and that to learn to fly these. Well, then again, I bet you can do it from an iPhone. But yeah, I like my RO system. I can't remember I was speaking to. Is it Dexter? I can't remember if that was the name. Apologies if it's not. And I was saying, like, by a water-fed pole system, you don't have to have the water purification on the tank. I said you're probably best having it static, like I've got in the shed, and a 50-pound IBC container. That way you don't have to plug it in, and then you can't move until, because it's going to be slow at producing water. Whereas if it's in the shed, you can still work while it's making water, if you get what I mean. And then it's again, I suppose you've got 2 vans, you're not having to have 2 filter systems. You just got one and a big tank full of water that you can both fill up from, if that makes sense. Yeah, I've got to clean enough windows to clean my credit card, let alone get something like that. 120 quid. You never know, if you're not selling, then you might get lucky. But yeah, I didn't see the demonstration on it neither, to be honest. But I believe, isn't it, fire brigades have looked at these in the past of using them to jet, like a powerful jet of water with accuracy into rooms to sort of like help fight the fires, I suppose, to help evacuate people out of buildings. So they've been looking at this for a long time as well. And I'm sure fire brigades have looked at, instead of like the jaws of life, they're using pressure washing that can cut through cars to get people out as well. Although I wouldn't accidentally touch my leg with that. So did everyone who went there have a nice time as well looking around? Were you there for like all day? Or, you know what I mean? Was it just had a look round and then did one? It definitely seemed a steady stream of people walking around there till near the end. And I think from past, I know a lot of people, I think, use it as a social, don't they? They meet up the night before, stay in hotels, have a few beers and that, and just make it a social thing, and then obviously look at the stands and that. Martin's just saying the demonstrations were good, but it broke. Oh, was that the drone? Flipping hell. Don't want to spend 120 grand on that. But these things happen, don't they? Yeah. Well, I thought it was funny, Neil, when he was telling us how he used to clean windows, like leaning out, flipping the window around, and he was laughing at the guy opposite using a pole. And like now you're saying how, you know what I mean, you've gone from laughing to it's the knees bees, basically. It's what everyone does. Oh, did you have a good look at that, did you, Robbie, mate? It's like I say, I like the one I use, and I've got the gardener's backpack, and I like both. But if I had to pick between the two, it'd be a tough call. But I'd say the trolley. Oh yeah, I've got the X-Line trolley because it can hold 2 barrels. The Nano trolley doesn't hold a 25 litre barrel on top, but they've been around for a long time, they have as well, and they're still popular. So no, when I was looking at it, everyone was saying get a Nano trolley, and they'd had it years and it's still going. But yeah, I've got the X-Line 45 litre one. But trolleys do come in handy. And like I said, with trolleys, they're aimed at starting up, aren't they? And then building your way up till you get a a bigger system. But even if you did it that way, it's still handy to have a big system plus a trolley. Especially if you've got a long way to get to the back of a, say, terraced house, rather than, like you say, getting your hose all around the paths and getting caught on manhole covers and stuff like that. It'd be handy to take a trolley around with you. You got home about 6 p.m. because you stopped for some more coffee and stuff. I think I got home about 5:30, mate. Right, so you thought it was small and everyone was too busy to chat, but you did buy a pole set up. Yeah, and had some good deals. So it's kind of like me, I just sat back a bit because I'm a bit overawed by it all, really. And I know I ain't got like a limit, you know what I mean, loads of money to spend. And I suppose it's good. I suppose you just have to keep walking around to find when a stand's a bit quiet, so you feel like you're not in the way of people who are going to want to spend loads of money and get your hands on stuff and ask questions and have a look and hold these things. R25, only difference between classic and the Nano's the battery. It's just food for thought though, isn't it, Robbie, mate? It's not like you have to rush into it. And look up on YouTube and see what other people say in other groups and stuff. And if they're not too far away, or find a supplier that sells them, you can always go and have a speak in a shop somewhere, can't you? Be under less pressure that way than like at the expo and there's just people all over the place. Really, was it? Right, with you. It's just luck of the draw sometimes, isn't it? I mean, I like being there and walking around and just speaking, obviously people saying hello and stuff. And I've just wanted to go for so long, so many times. But I've never had loads of money to buy stuff again. Yeah, it is a big saving, isn't it, I suppose. I didn't know if is it like most of them 20% off? Or you're not paying post and packaging neither, are you, on all these things? So when you get these deals. Because I've often thought, would it be worth saving you money January to January sort of thing? So when you go to the expo, that's what I was thinking, and look through the year on your consumables, so all your bags of resin and that sort of stuff, and then buy a year's worth from there and save X amount of money on stuff you're going to use anyway, as opposed to always going for new gear. Now I've got my Skyvac one there, handing them out as we walked in. The sweet snack come in handy. I'm not sure what size pump it is on the Nano. Yeah, and that's what I liked about my 45 litre trolley compared to the gardener's backpack, was the pump and the controller the same as what's on my main tank, and I know how that works. The gardener's, I like it because sometimes that's the easiest one to walk through a garage and it's handy for the tight spaces. But my daughter loved working, because to give her the choice, she'd pick the X-Line 45 because it just holds that much more water in it and it's less going backwards and forwards, because we're using it all the time, not just for the odd window sort of thing. It's just a bugger when you get a flat tyre. And we tried them tyres where they don't get flat, but then if they don't, it doesn't bounce on the floor because it's solid plastic and it's hard to get through the shingle, whereas the pneumatic tyres make life easier, so we've gone back to them. Wow, that's double, isn't it, mate? Sounds a bit over my head. 150, yeah. And every water board's got different chemicals, and sometimes they get the water from a different county anyway, so sometimes you get these spikes, and that's why, isn't it? But my water softener has definitely worked on making my membrane last a lot longer than what it was, and it was due to some chemical. I'm sure it was like, not chlorine, but it sounded like chlorine. Yeah, I'd definitely say it's worth it for the experience. And Rob here tell you got some free pens, didn't you? Was it from Kingston's canvassing, that sort of thing. And he's like, grab some pens because you like your pens. They do come in handy though, don't they? Okay, it's a 100 psi pump, so it's the same as what Pure Freedom use in their fan mount, so it's got to be the same in it. What I like about the trolleys as well is, say if you're doing a conservatory roof, you can just fill it up with the customer's tap water and then use that to clean the roof. And you can turn obviously the flow rate up and down to quite powerful as well if you wanted to. And then you can use your pole from your main van if you wish, couldn't you, just to rinse it over. Kingdom canvassing, yeah, they were giving away pens. I think Robbie got about 5 or 6 pens there. I'll have a look for you on the X-Line website. It's made by Spectrum, and this was going back maybe 4 or 5 years now. Have they got a search? Might be easier. This is where you find I can't spell. There we go. Thank God for modern technology. All right, it's not going to show it. Might be that old now that they ain't got a picture of it. Sorry, just seeing if I can find it. Alright, they're on here. No, they haven't got a picture of it, mate. I'll have to try and get a picture of it and send it to you. I'm sure you might see it in one of my videos about the RO filter, because I'm sure I point at it. But it's... They've got an under the sink one, I suppose. I'll just see if I've got a manual somewhere. Just bear with me. Where will that be? Just trying to think where I save these things. Not sure if this will work, but I think if I drag this in, let me try and work this one out. Just bear with me. Doing this on the fly. It's basically these ones here. There's a choice of 3, and the smallest one on the left is the one I've got, and it's basically, like I say, I think it regens after every 1,000 litres of pure water has been made, so that's why it goes off base basically once every 2 days. And it's got this bit here, so it's automatic rather than you doing it manual, and I just fill up with the salt tablets in there, and it does its thing when it's needed to, and I've got it set to go off like at 1 in the morning. I'm sure that's it, and it just says installation and service operation manual, and it's soft H2O flow, if that makes sense. So it says Spectrum soft H2O flow. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. And that's just, there's 2 versions. You've got one with this bit on it and one without, basically. And just put it all in myself. See if I can put that in the chat for you. Sorry. Hopefully that's that one sort of done. And then how do I undo what I've just done? Bingo. Hopefully that's helped, mate. Yeah, I know fluoride's in water, but I can't remember if it's chloride. I know it sounded very similar to chlorine, James said, and I was like, I wouldn't have a clue. But what he was saying made sense to me, that it's the chemical, not the water pressure and all that sort of stuff. And it was 400 quid for me to get the small one that was on the left. I'm sure that's what I spent, paid for it. And then what I do is I just get the, is it Wix? Yeah, Wix. I just ordered the soft water tablets from. I brought some this week, basically, 25 kilogram bag. I think it's about just under a tenner. It was about 9 quid, something like that, because you get your trade discount, don't you? And yeah, and that's the one I used. They've obviously maybe got different makes. You know how quickly things get outdated. But the water softeners definitely helped my membrane last long, because they should be lasting, shouldn't they, between 3 and 5 years. But I do think it depends on how much water you're pushing through it, to be honest. A bit like our knees and everything else. So I'm just going to have a drink of water. Yeah, so I'm looking forward, as you've told me now, that the weather's going to be good this week. And I've got an extra job on Saturday, so I've charged, it's £40 for the external clean. That's going to be regular as well. And then double, so it's £80 for the inside. Like I said, it's quite a big house, a lot of glass, bifold doors. And then there's a little outbuilding with, it's like a garage, but they've got like, going to build a kitchenette in there and that as well. And that's got like a double patio door and that to do. And there's filthy on the inside. I think the previous owners, they haven't really looked after it, put it that way. Right, I'm not sure if there's a problem with the stream. I'm just looking in the YouTube studio bit, and it seems to be way behind, and I've got a warning saying the bit rate is lower than recommended. I've no idea what that means. I think the stream's playing up just down to the internet, I think. Looks like it's just binned. Oh no. Just bear with me, I'll see if I can do anything daft like check what the streams. Don't think it'll let me test it while I'm using it. It was alright earlier. Oh, okay, got some messages, sorry. Hey, I'll just keep going. I don't know what's going on with this. Okay. I think I might be getting somewhere. Just bear with us. It's weird, I'm getting a warning, but it's saying stream status is good. I don't know, it's all beyond me. As long as everyone still sees we're chatting, I'll just keep going. Mind you, I'll have to stop soon as it's getting on a bit, isn't it? But hopefully though, everyone's getting ready for another good week, especially knowing that the weather's going to be better. And I expect a lot of people to spend some money now, got to go out to earn it back and kind of undo it a bit. But at the end of the day, it's good to get new bits of kit. Look. And if it makes you a bit happier and you work a bit better, it just makes it different, doesn't it? And it's going to have a good effect on you. And yeah, just see what you think, Matt, as well. That's Synergy Pro Clean as compared to what you normally use as your TFRs and that. I think it's great. And I've just decanted out my big bottle into an old 5-litre tub, so I've got that in the van now. So it's a bit smaller than the big one. So when I hit the brakes, I ain't got this sliding around my van. And yeah, I've got some inside windows to do tomorrow. I've got the Unger Stingray. We use that for this particular job because they stay clean. They're clean regularly inside. It kind of like works well as well. Yeah, it was good meeting up, Neil. It's great to see faces to names for me on here. And yeah, I'm definitely up for it next year with a few beers if everyone else is up for that. Like the night before or something. Although I don't really want a hangover. But it's really nice just to have more time chatting. Oh, nice one, Matt. Yeah, no, you'll like it. I like just to mix it with water in one of my traditional buckets, and I just dip my brush in there and take it straight up. I find it's quicker that way than trying to mix it, put it in a backpack, spray it, swap poles around. But we did use it on that job in Aldershot in the sprayer, but we ended up going back to the bucket and water. And I still keep getting warnings about this. Oh, nice one, Mark, yeah. Hopefully there might be more of us as well. We'll have to find out where's a good spot. Then have breakfast in that cafe. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Robbie. Go the night before and have a few beers. And then more time just chatting and having a good laugh. And then have a walk around. Maybe in the expo split up for a bit and then meet up again for a cafe and a chat and that sort of thing. Yeah, I'll have to do the same. I think it's took me 8 years of sweet talking. Probably sweet talking is in spend more money on her. Yeah, no, it'd definitely be great. I think just more time chatting and that. Because it was really good how everyone just spoke as if we'd known each other a long time is what I thought. It was really good. And it was nice other people coming up to me and just saying hello. Wasn't expecting any of that. You just make videos and throw them out there, don't you? But it just probably also shows how alike we all are. I mean, it's interesting speaking to people. You've got people starting up, and you've got people who've been doing it from the age of 16 and going like 18, 20 years plus. It's a good mixed bag, isn't it, of people. And you just see all this new stuff. But yeah, it's also good to know the kit you've got standing the test of time as well, isn't it? Yeah, I did think you could go up the day before, make it a 2-day event, so you could have a walk round, like do your recce and scout, get double the pens, and then go the following day. I tell you what, I bet if you stayed overnight, it'd be interesting if you got to speak with the people who on the stands as well and have a laugh with them. Yeah, it is definitely interesting just amongst that group of 5 of us just chatting away, and you'll get the same aim but just do it slightly different than that. I think everyone's drooling at the new stuff, mate. But it's amazing sometimes what you can achieve with what you've got and you still get the job done. Then sometimes this fancy kit doesn't look so fancy anymore. But yeah, I mean, it is funny how some of the kit you got really hasn't changed, but it's still going strong in it. So it does the job. It'd be interesting if they did a follow-up on the expo, you know, where they did maybe behind the scenes or something on YouTube with the people on the stands and get their feedback on what they thought of it from their point of view for them 2 days. I mean, you saw some of the stands there, a lot of staff there, so they're obviously busy selling stuff. But it is nice just to speak to people. It's just hard, isn't it, when you got a supplier you like, but they're miles away from you. And you can go there and speak to them. Whereas if they're local to you, you could go anytime and have a nice catch them and have a good chat. But it's worth it. Any of the suppliers you like, is just reach out and speak to them because they do recognise your name after a while. Yeah. I would be too scared though to have a go on the Turbo Terry stand. Being water-fed pole, I'm not that brilliant with trad kit, so I'd be miles slow. And I think a lot of people would be too scared to have a go on that. But it's a bit of fun as well, isn't it? And it's interesting just to see all the different stuff out there. Yeah. Well, my daughter Sophie's up in Scotland now. I can't remember the guy's name, but he wanted to speak and have a look at Matt's van. There was something in there he wanted to look at and check out. And yeah, they'd come down from Scotland and he's with his son. And he sort of just asked me, how's Sophie? So I was pretty amazed with that because he said he's seen the videos and just laughed and said if she ever wants a job. So I did tell Sophie that today. Really? So the gut vac had to go back on Friday to refill, and loads of their gut vacs were out of stock. Is that on gut vacuum systems, Robbie, was it? Or Spinner Clean? Yeah, I can't remember who he was, Matt. I didn't get to see his logo because I thought if Sophie was really interested, I'd have said, right, I'll get in touch. CVS sold out as well on Friday. Oh, so when we saw him, he'd run to get some more. Blinking hell. Be interested to see the feedback on that one, wouldn't it? It's good to see your camera as well. Interesting. It's good that. Oh no, she's working, Angus, mate. She's her and a fella, they bought a house over a year ago up in Scotland, but the other half is a prison officer, and he got hit and ended up in a coma for 3 weeks. It was touch and go. Then he's in hospital for another 3 months. And I just told Sophie, don't worry about work, just go, be there. And he was in Addenbrooke's, and then until they kind of like were happy with him, he couldn't go anywhere. So yeah, and that's why she wanted to go up to Scotland. So she couldn't go that way till she got a job. So she's working in a care home, but it's like I said to her, it's a job, and it's allowing you to have a life up there, isn't it? It's something you can change later. But interestingly, you'll laugh, she had a guy knock on the door asking if they'd like the windows cleaned, and she said they're no good. But she phoned the guy up. She said the guy, to be fair, was reasonable and was all right about it. And she said, look, my window cleaner, I know how water-fed pole works. His water quality is rubbish, and he hasn't been rinsing properly, sort of thing. And he just said, look, it's a lad, he's new at it, and I'll have to keep an eye on him, and I won't charge you, sort of thing. All right, gutter vacuum system, sorry, not CVS. They sold out, bloody hell. Yeah, I was gutted because when you got yourself a drink, I went there. There's no one serving it at the bar because I guess they just got really busy on the stands. Yeah, I think if you're going to film, you just have to concentrate on it. It's like sometimes I think when you're out with your family, and sometimes it's best just to put that stuff away and just enjoy your time, if you get what I mean. But I'm sure if you used it more often, you'd known how best to use it as well. So it's hard, isn't it? Because you want to play around with it and learn as well. No, all's fine now, Angus, mate. He's made a really good recovery. It's just his speech. I can have a conversation with him fine. It's just sometimes certain words he wants to say, he can't remember them. He gets a bit frustrated, but he's done really well from how he was. It's a miracle, really. Yeah, now I think Matt told me all the extensions you can buy to go on there are insulated against electric shocks as well. So it's not like just the bottom one. Every single extension you add to it is that. So I can imagine you've got like a standard set pole, and then when you add 2 extensions on, so if one's on the bottom one, one's on the next section up, you're safe. I saw the Jason, the guy that got electrocuted as well. I saw him. I think he must have been on the way to do one of these talks in the seminars they do. I wish I got to see them, but it just felt like it's going to be too noisy to be able to hear when you're looking around. And I think I saw him speaking to CVS as well, so he must be happy to see that they're pushing that kind of side of things with their polls. So it brings it home a bit, doesn't it? Right, well, I better call it a night soon, because I know Mother's Day downstairs. She's let me come up and do live. Couldn't last week, and that's what Robbie made me laugh when he's like, oh, I was looking to watch you and you weren't on. So yeah, I'll be on every Sunday. I think, yeah, I agree, Angus, as well. It's going to be interesting now. It's going to shape future polls and all that stuff. But it's going to be so easily can be done to anyone, can't it? Not that he wasn't paying attention. Obviously, his circumstances with the spray of the pole coming off, as opposed to the pole hitting the wires. But we've all moved and hit a wire, looked up, you know what I mean, and look, it's a telephone wire or something. It's just so easy when you're trying to race time and thinking you've got to make a little bit of money. It's like, it's not worth it. Just glad it all helps, and like I say, everyone should just help everyone really, because everyone starts somewhere, don't they? And every day you're learning. Have a nice one, Mark. Great seeing you, even though you're a Leeds fan. Yeah, I had a good time as well. It's just over so quick, weren't it? Cheers, Neil. Hope everyone has a good week. Stay safe. See you on Sunday. I'll probably just, if you've got any subjects, just put them in the comments and stuff like that. We'll pick stuff, but I think everyone just likes it as a normal chit chat and just talk about kit, I suppose, and have a look and ask questions. Kind of like just hang out. I think it's what people want, really, isn't it? You never switch off, do you, from winter cleaning? But yeah, everyone have a cracking week, and I'll catch up with you Sunday. Take care.